manager of the Business Advisory Centre Durham, and I'm excited to have you all here today to such a great session called Create Like a Pro, Learn Canva for Your Business. As Daisy was just saying, it's such a game changer. It's a great tool for us as small business owners. I have it on my phone, and I'm creating content right from my phone with it. I create wallpapers, I create planners, I create all kinds of stuff with it, and all of BACD's social media as well. We use it a lot, and we use it for presentations as well. So excited to have you here for the Do It in Durham week. So Do It in Durham has been running for 13 years now, and it is to celebrate entrepreneurship, global entrepreneurship around the world. It happens in 200 countries, and there's like 40,000 events that happen as well. And it's all about celebrating entrepreneurship. And this week, we have over 30 events happening. There are still more happening. I will put the link in the chat box, but it's doitindurham.biz. There is space for you to register for a whole bunch of events that are still coming up as well. And now to move over to today's event. This is happening with Daisy Raudales from DRPR. She's a public relations specialist and founder. And Daisy has been running these kinds of workshops with us for many years now, and we're super excited to have her here to run this one as well. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to our sponsors that have made this possible and our partners that have helped so that we can create these events for our Durham region businesses. And we have people attending, honestly, from all over the world, but it is about celebrating you, the entrepreneur, the job creator, the innovator, the creator, the person that's creative thinking about business and creating a life that they love. So thank you for being here. And Daisy, I will hand over to you. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Teresa. It is a pleasure to be here this afternoon. So thank you all for joining us today for this session, and as well for carving out some time in your busy afternoon. It is a busy season with Christmas coming up as well. So hopefully a lot of these techniques that I go over today with Canva will also help with our holiday promotions and marketing that is coming up. All right, so today I am super excited to share with you all how to create content and marketing material using Canva. So just to give a little bit of an introduction about myself, my name is Daisy. I'm a public relations specialist, as Teresa mentioned, and I'm the owner of DRPR, which is a public relations and marketing agency in Ajax. I've been in business for 5 years now. This past August, I celebrated 5 years, and I'm super passionate about helping entrepreneurs build awareness, credibility, and growth. I also support business owners with their PR as well, in addition to content marketing. So this includes services like media pitching, press release distribution, social media marketing, and email marketing. So before we dive right in, I do want to ask everyone to just simply put in the chat if you are currently using Canva. Just put a thumbs up or yes right in the chat so I can get a little bit of an idea of how many people here use it in their day-to-day. Yes, 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 amazing. Okay, I see a lot of positive yeses. Yay! All right, we have one no. Okay, no worries. Okay, so this is great. This means a lot of us actually use Canva, which is incredible. That means I'll actually be able to share a little bit more about the pro features that Canva has that you can also use if you are currently a member with them. So before we begin, it's important to take note of the Canva content workflow. This is essentially divided into 4 steps, as you see here, which includes the planning process, the branding process, where we brand all of our marketing material and social media, our design process, of course, where all the magic happens with content creation in Canva, and then the posting workflow, which is basically the scheduling aspect of designing content and making sure it's ready to go for posting. So before you do any of your creative in Canva, it's important to ask yourself these questions. So first, you want to ask yourself, what message are you sharing? Who are you creating the content for? So make sure that you're keeping note of your target audiences and your target market. You also want to make note where your content is going to go. Is it just for social media? Is it also going to be on your website? Is it for email marketing as well? Really make note of what material you need at that current stage of your designing. You also want to ask yourself, do you have a marketing strategy already? If you do, this is going to be your foundation. So if you have a strategy, I highly recommend you actually use that in this planning process because it's going to help you to build a strategy that matches and aligns your brand identity. And so it's really, really helpful to have with you, especially if you're going to use it for social media, for example. You can create a social media strategy using already your marketing strategy. And then, of course, before you design anything, you always want to ask yourself, what are your brand goals in mind as well? So design with the intention of matching it to your brand, and then know your content pillars. So especially when it comes to social media, I usually mention to, any of my clients, make sure you incorporate content that is educational, engaging, inspiring, and promotional. And actually, in this next slide, I have examples of the kinds of content that you can include that follow these 4 pillars. So when it comes to educational content, you want to ensure that it teaches your audience, it informs them, and it shares tips. So this is kind of your opportunity to show yourself as an expert in your industry or niche. So this is where you could create content that includes tutorials. Maybe you want to include some FAQs, a Did You Know series, or how-tos as well. Then you want to do engaging content as well. So this is where you want to spark conversation with your audience online, and it actually helps you to kind of build a community of people as well in your social media. So this could include polls or memes, this or that questions. It could even be really funny content as well that still aligns with your market. Next, you want to include inspirational content. So this includes content that will motivate and build emotional connection. You'll often see this in content that includes quotes. So some businesses do like a Monday motivation kind of series. So that's something you could incorporate. Behind the scenes is also really great content for people to actually understand what it is that you do in your day-to-day and to also understand your process. It actually adds like an aspect of credibility for your business, which often ends up leading to trust and then, of course, hopefully a sale with you. And then, of course, your story. So the one thing I always mention too with social media specifically, but really any marketing, is that people want to understand who you are. When it comes to using social media, for example, you want to be able to actually show your face if you are, not shy, and be able to share exactly your story. I find that with social media, it's an amazing tool for us to use to actually connect with our audience on a more personal level and connection. So this is where you want to be able to kind of let your own personality shine. And you are essentially the face of your business, so it's very important to be able to share that with your audience. Next, we want to include promotional content. So this is content that drives traffic and sales. So for example, any launches of products, if you're a product-based business, if you are a service-based business, you could include your services. You could also share promotions that you have going on, maybe events, and then showing testimonials also adds that credibility as well. Also, as I'm going along, please don't hesitate to ask any questions in the chat. I'm happy to answer them, and I'll make sure to kind of keep an eye out. All right. So next we have our planning tips. So when it comes to planning, you can use a content calendar, which I highly recommend. If you are using Canva already, I'm not sure if many of you already know, but Canva does have a built-in planner, which is amazing. So if you are already on the pro version, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can honestly just use the same software you're using to plan your own content. However, if you are using other tools, then you can also use things like Notion, there is Asana, there is Trello, and then Google Sheets. I also highly recommend to use whatever software, honestly, is something that you use already in your day-to-day. So if you are someone who likes Google Sheets or Google Docs, then just create there. If you are someone who uses Asana in your day-to-day for task management already, then you can actually create your content calendar in Asana using like the planner preview. I use Asana as well just because I use it every day. So it just makes it a lot easier. Next, you want to plan around your theme. So when you're creating your content, just like this in this example, it's just a regular calendar. You want to make sure that you're including important key dates. So this would include any holidays, for example, Black Friday's coming up. You could put a lot of promotions in there if you are preparing to have a promo. There's also Christmas coming up, New Year's. So right now, if you are creating your content plan, make sure you're incorporating those dates. Also, you want to keep note of any important dates that pertain to your business itself. So for example, just like Teresa said, she uses it with BACD, and they probably planned around the Do It in Durham as well, being, a week long of events. So you want to make sure you're planning around those events that you also might have in your own business, and also anything else that you are planning. Maybe it's a workshop, maybe you are doing a guest speaking opportunity. So make sure you're including that as well. Next, you want to assign your content types. So if it is pertaining to social media, you want to make sure you do a mixture of reels, carousels, images. I usually try to do a mix of these three every week. So for example, if you're doing 3 posts a week, you want to try to do at least 1 reel, 1 graphic, 1 image. This just keeps the combination more fun, and especially more engaging for your audience. And then lastly, you want to make sure you batch all of your design ahead of time so that you don't have to go back to it. It's the key is to save time. So use Canva to help you save as much time as possible. Do we have any questions right now as we're going along? Oh, I see here actually. Does the planner platform in Canva allow you to schedule and post directly on all social media platforms? It actually does. So the question was, can you use Canva to plan directly on social platforms? You can. However, you do have to use the pro version for it. So if you are on the free version, you won't be able to see that feature, but as soon as you sign up, you'll be able to do that. And then I see here, I've used Meta Planner for Facebook and Instagram, but just ran into the challenge that I cannot pre-plan over 30 days in advance. Oh, that's a very interesting. So if that is the case with Meta Planner, then you may want to consider another tool, especially if it's important to you to plan more than 30 days in advance. There is a tool called Later that is really good, even effective with cost. And then what is the cost for monthly Pro Canva? I believe it's $16.99 monthly. There are some people here that I can't find on the registration. Okay, got it. That was for you.
Thank you. Yes. So I'm going to put your names in the chat box because I can't find you on the registration list. So I can't send you an email. So if it's okay with you, you can, I'll put BACD's email address in here. So you can email me your email so that I know you're here so that I can send this out to you. So I will put it in the chat box who you are, and then you can email us at BACD. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Teresa.
Here you go.
All right, so before we go into the fun part of today's session, which is the actual design process, the first and most important step when it comes to designing anything, whether it's flyers, social media graphics, videos, whatever it is that you're doing for your business, it is super important to use the brand kit. Again, this actual kit is only available with the pro version, but if you do anticipate to use Canva all the time for your content, then I would highly recommend you just get the pro account. It really saves a lot of time in the long run. And with your Canva brand kit, which I will demonstrate shortly, you can do so much. So you can actually add all of the elements from your existing brand kit that you may have received from your branding specialist if you got a brand done. So you can add all of your logos and all the variations of it. You can add your fonts as you see here. You can add all of your colors as well through the color codes, and you can do even more, such as adding images and adding icons if that's something that you use often. Also, so why do we need to do this? I always mention to, all of my clients too, it's really important to use the brand kit as your foundation because it helps you keep your content simple, clean, and it's actually faster to batch content with your brand kit already embedded in your Canva account. It also helps you to make sure that you're using a consistent style across all of your designs, whether you're designing for social or for your website or marketing. For step 3, it's actually also great because it helps you stay consistent with your design styles. So with Canva now, you can even save your brand templates. So if you're someone who actually uses the same template often for a specific content type, let's say it's events, let's say you do events like, maybe once or twice a month. So you can actually save that template that you use for your event. And then in your brand kit, you can house it in there so that anytime you have an event for the next month, you can actually go in your account and just look at your templates and then just use that same one and obviously just change a little bit of the text. So it helps you to stay consistent with that, but also making sure that the design itself has that same sort of look and feel, and the spacing and alignment is the same. And for step 4, it's always important to use your brand kit for every design. Canva will auto apply it as well if you have the pro version. So instead of you going and manually, changing up the font size or changing up the colors, you can actually now just click on your brand kit and it'll auto populate the colors, and even just make the text consistent across. So I will share that with you shortly, actually, in our demo coming up. All right, and now step 3, this is the designing part. This is the funnest part of Canva itself. So of course, Canva has amazing benefits. Not only can it help you with your social media design, but like we mentioned, it can help with everything from your business cards as well to your flyers. Even if you're someone who creates a lot of reports and plans and slideshows, you can do all of that in Canva. I created this slideshow in Canva, to be honest, and it just saves so much time. So features that are included in it includes built-in templates, of course. Now Canva has integrated AI apps, so I'm actually going to be sharing with you some of my favorites that you can use as well. It also has the social media planner and scheduler, like we mentioned. Magic Design actually is brand new, so it helps you to create designs just from simple prompts. It's like their new AI feature. There's also Magic Edit, which allows you to do edits to images, such as removing certain elements of an image or swapping it with another. And then you can also resize also your content based on what you're using it for, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or even if it's just reused for a flyer for the future. So I'll be happy to share with you how to design all of these things in Canva. So now the fun part starts. So before we begin as well, in this part of the presentation, I do want to also get an idea of who uses the Canva Brand Kit already in Canva. If you do, you can, yeah, I see Teresa also as well. Yes. Amber says yes. Amazing. No, I do. Yes. Oh, okay. So a lot of us do. No. Okay, there's a good combination, I would say, of us who do and who don't. So not to worry. Let's actually go through it together, and who knows, we might actually learn something new. They are always changing a lot of these elements of Canva, so we'll be able to go through it together. So this is my Canva account. I'm going to use mine as the demonstration today. So for the brand kit, it'll actually be here on the left side. So if you go to brand, you just click on that. And whenever you see, for those who are new to Canva, whenever you see this little crown on any of the elements, which you will also see under the brand section, it actually means that it's a pro version. So it kind of just lets you know what you have access to and what you may not have access to. So this is how Canva's brand kit looks now. It is so different from how it used to look years ago when I first created my brand kit. So under the logo section, this is where you want to add your logos. So and I actually have a lot, so I'm going to put mine right here. So just to give you an example, these are all of my logos for my business, DRPR. When it comes to adding your logos, you want to make sure you are adding all the variations. So one in black if you have, in white, the colored version, a transparent version. If you have like a favicon that is more of the icon of your actual logo, you can add it here. So add all the variations because you never know when you're going to need to use certain ones when it comes to different designs that you're doing. But of course, the goal is to make it consistent across. So if you're doing social media with, let's say, one logo, just keep it consistent with all your social media. You may only need to use a different variation if it, for example, you're using a design that has a color in the background, like For example, my favicon has orange in the back. So if I ever have a design that has like a really stark background color, you can use that sort of element. All
Daisy,
right. Yep.
stop for 1 second. Anna has a question, or you have her hand raised, Anna? Sorry, I muted you. 1 second. You should be able to speak, yeah? Oh,
Anna, can you hear us?
I know. I muted you, but I can't unmute you.
Okay,
So
here we go.
there you can.
I
That's
want to
it.
mute myself. No, I was trying to answer yes, and I couldn't find the chat. I'm not used to this. I'm used to Zoom, and it looked
All right.
different. So I figured it out. Thank you, Teresa. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
you can lower your hand on your side, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can do it. I can do it.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Perfect. Amazing. No worries. I also don't use Microsoft Teams often, so if I get stuck at any point, I apologize. I'm getting new to it as well. All right, so just as an example, here you can see all of the logos that I have. You can also rename them. So you'll often find that if you have several brand kits, for example, if you're someone who is, for example, in my case, I have a lot of different brand kits for different companies that we do social media for, then you can add them here as well to make it easier for naming. Also, so if we go through the actual process under colors, usually when you add your logo itself, it'll auto-populate based on the logo. So for example, if I go in here and I add, let's say, let me just see if I can add a brand asset. I have my logo here, so I'm going to upload it in here. Usually it'll auto-populate on the second stage, which is the color stage, which is just right below. So, oh, there you go. You can see it right here. It grabbed the white and the yellow. So this is a good starting point if you obviously are going to connect all of your colors. And then if you do have a couple more colors, so usually most brands have at least 5, I would say, 5 or less, then you can automatically add them individually. So for example, I can go to add new and I could add the color palette. So you'll just need to get the actual code and then embed it in here. So I'm just gonna, for the sake of today's example, just pretend with these colors. And then you wanna rename everything that you're doing. So for here, I would put something like DRPR colors. And I'm just using this as an example. We'll take out that color. All right, and then when it comes to fonts, you want to also include all of the kinds of fonts that you use. Try to stick to 2 to 3 fonts only when it comes to your content, anything that you design. This is because if you start to include a whole mix of different fonts with different designs that you're doing, it will actually no longer show your brand as it'll be harder for the person to actually dictate what your brand is because there's a different style and look every single time. Where if you do have a similar style that you always include on your content, it actually helps the customer remember you longer, and they'll always kind of be able to know what your brand looks like just based on memory alone. So usually there's 2 different fonts I find that most businesses have, one for their title and then one for their actual body, like paragraph. So for your title, for example, here, mine is the Montserrat, and I actually use the Montserrat family for everything. So typically it's the same. It's just that this one could be bolded, for example, and then the actual body of it could just be the Montserrat on its own. The beauty of Canva as well is that it kind of gives you an approximate sizing based on how you should create your content as well. So for title, it'll make it like this. In this case, it's a 42 size, and here it's a 16. And then, of course, if you use a subtitle, you can do the same if it's part of the same family, and it'll just help you easier when it comes to creating your content. I'm going to just have a look at the chat every now and then also to make sure I don't miss any questions here. Okay, now in the brand voice. So I don't know if actually many of us know this, but there's a brand voice function in the brand kit of Canva. So this is where you can include how your brand is. For example, they have here quirky, humorous, and professional. We could put something else like maybe professional. We would put compassionate, empathetic, friendly. So just based on, what your brand tone of voice is at the time. and I'll just save it here. And I'll show you why we do this actually, just shortly after. So in the photos, this is where you can actually add any photos that you have of your company, even if it's photos of yourself and you create content that has, your images, it's easier just to house them in here. So if you go to upload brand assets and you include your photos, I'm just going to include like, let's say 2 images of myself, just as an example, so we can go through this later. I'm going to house them in here. Then we have graphics. So this is if you already have created brand assets before and you want to just house them in here. Remember we mentioned like templates and stuff like that. You can save them to always go back to them later. And then we also have our icons, which is really cool. So if you are someone who creates content that let's say you're doing content promoting your services, and let's say you have an icon for different services. For example, in my case, I would have one for social media, one for like PR, which could be a newspaper. You could keep icons in here and just house them in here so that you could use it all the time for other content as well. And then lastly, there's charts. That's if you are someone who uses charts. Any questions before I move to the next stage? No? Okay, perfect. All right. So now that we have our brand kit, now it's time for the fun part, which is creating. So I actually want to show you how to create content in Canva. But before you do that, did you know actually with Canva, you can also start your ideation stage. So, many of us know we can use AI now to create content ideas. So Canva has its own built-in AI to also help you get content ideas. It's kind of similar to ChatGPT. It's just its own version of it. So if you actually go to, let's say we go to doc and we're creating a doc. I'm just going to put it here. Under the magic write function, which is right over here, you can click on it and you can actually ask it that for ideas for your content. So idea brainstorm. Here it automatically has populated an example. So here they want 10 ideas for re-engaging lost customers of a small business. Include your idea name, description, and notes. So in this case, I want to create it for content ideas for December, for the holidays. So I'm going to change this up and I'm going to put create, let's say 12 content ideas for me to use in December 2025. And then here, I'm just going to put here company is, and I'll put my company just for an example, a public relations company that offers, let's say, PR and social media marketing. You also want to make sure you give it as much information as possible. So you can say, for example, the target audience. So we could say small and medium sized businesses. And then here you can add more. I usually also like to put in here the content types. So for example, let's say you want to do 3 posts a week and you want to have a mixture of one that is promotional, like we mentioned, inspiring, engaging, and educational. So following those 4 pillars. And then here we just go to generate. And you're actually going to see it's AI already starting to build all of the content ideas in here, which is amazing. It saves you so much time. And then you just click on insert. And now we have all of our content ideas right here. And it actually has named them based on the content pillar, which is really cool. So here it says, for example, let's just go through the first one, harnessing power of social media. And then here it says you can share insights on upcoming trends for small and medium-sized businesses, highlight how these trends can be leveraged to enhance brand visibility. And then if you want even more of help in terms of how to put this together, you can copy it. You can, again, go to the magic write. You can ask it, for example, let's just go here. You can say create this and expand this content idea. So I can put it together into a carousel, let's say. And then here, it will actually give you all of that as well. So you can actually use Canva as think of it as your chat GPT and your planning buddy so that you have ideas that you can incorporate into your content every single month. And it saves a lot of time from the manual stage that we used to do before. And you can just have everything right here, making sure that you have a mixture of content as well. So I'm going to let it finalize, but do we have any questions right now as well before we move to the design stage? I'll keep moving to the... Perfect. Does anyone actually use the Magic Write AI as well in Canva? No, I see some no's in here. No. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's really cool. It kind of saves a step. If you're using ChatGPT, you can just use the Canva version and you don't have to kind of keep toggling between tabs. So it definitely saves a little bit of time for you. Perfect. Okay, and then here, so now that it has generated, we'll actually see here how it gives us a whole content idea for the first post. So it actually tells me what to include on each slide. For example, Harness 2026 social trends, quick wins, and then you kind of keep going through and through. So this is really great to have, especially if you're going to be designing this anyways. You want to copy it or you want to kind of keep it on like this tab here. So now I'm going to add to design. Now it comes to the design stage. So for the design stage, I usually just open another tab of Canva, make sure I'm in it, have the other kind of content plan on the side, and then you want to go into the design stage. So this is where you click on whatever it is that you're looking for, whether you're looking for a social media post, you can click on here, or if you want to look at all the options, you can actually go to create, which is this button, and then just search for whatever it is that you are looking for. In this case, I'm going to put Instagram posts, so I'll click it here. And we will go here now. Perfect. So now we have on the other page, we have already the first post that we can start creating, which is the one on the power of social media trends in 2026. So for this, since it is a carousel, I would actually recommend you search under carousel to get the idea and to get a template that already is easy to use. Let's say it's this one. You can actually apply all 6 pages. And then boom, I have all of the content built in here already based on the template it has given me. Now, if I go back here and I just exit out of here, now we can actually design this. So again, I'm going to put in here the title that it gave me, which is Harness 2026 Social Media Trends. Now I'm going to also change the font because I think it's under a different font. So we will go and click on Montserrat just as an example. And then this was the cool function that I wanted to share with you all. So once you click on Montserrat, if you go to change all right here at the bottom, it actually will change it for every single slide. So now it's made sure that the text is Montserrat. It has changed it at least for the title here. So now if I want to change it for the bottom title, which you see here is still different, then you have to just do the same thing where you go to the font, you put Montserrat and then change all. And it'll automatically apply it to every single page. So now you have saved so much time alone just clicking on that one button. Then you want to make sure, again, that on every post you include, usually I recommend your logo. So in this case, let's say we want to add our icon logo. You just go under brand here on the left, you go under logo, and then you click on your logo. For me, I actually typically include this little one, which is just our little like favicon. So you put it here. And then usually you can also include your handle name if you want to obviously have your content with the attribution of it. So you just copy the element. You can also do it this way, the regular way, which you copy the element. And then I just paste it on every single one. And it just makes it a lot easier to have it in there.
A couple of questions for you in the chat box.
Yep. No worries.
Sandy is asking, can you post to TikTok? And I don't remember that if you can, or if it's new.
In Canva, I don't know if you can either. From what I remember, it was Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I'm not actually too sure if they've added TikTok now
I'll
as a.
look while you're doing just answering the questions. I'll have a look.
Thank you. And I see another one. What is your suggestion with using templates and then swapping for your brand font? I find that changing the fonts can change the overall feel and design. That is true. I would say though, try to stick with using your font just to make sure that it's cohesive with your brand and not the template that Canva provides. But what you can do, if it looks a little like weird or wonky, or you're not really liking the style, what I would do is like maybe just decrease the sizing, or you can play around with it and include other effects. Like for example, actually now that we're on that topic, I'm gonna show you a quick little example. If you click on the text and then you go to effects right here, it'll give you different options. So the lift option just makes it appear more like up in front of you, like a 3D. The shadow one gives you more of like a backdrop color. So I could change it to orange, for example. There's also other ones like outline. So this could be helpful too if, for example, like you were mentioning, there may be a post where you can't see it well with the background. You can add these kind of text elements to let your words stand out more than the image itself in the back. So for example, like this would completely bring it out, or you can change it around based on the style. And then there's cool ones like neon is actually really cool as well. So you can play around with that too. I would mention though, if I would also highlight like if you're doing this, let's say carousel style for all of your tip posts or your like educational posts, then I would say use the same template, like just copy it and paste it into another, just so that it's cohesive and it just saves you so much time from kind of reinventing the wheel all over again to a new template. I hope that answers your question as well.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Awesome. No problem. All right. And then I do want to share with you a cool other element. So with this picture, it works really well because as you can see, there's like a kind of black overlay. So if you click on it and you go here into the colors, you can actually change the background as well. So for example, I'm going to do this all over. I'm going to click on gray. Then here on the left side, I'm going to go to the photos or photos option. Let's say I want to just have one of, this female on the computer. I can add it right at the back and just size it. I can position it backwards. And then now I want to have that overlay, but I want it to have that gray color that matches my brand. So you just go here under transparency and you lower it like this. And it'll automatically add that sort of like transparent element so that you can better see the words up front. So that's another really cool thing that some people do just to make their images like stand out a little bit more. So that's something else you can do too if your font you're finding is not really working well. And then I would again just make sure you have all of the elements aligned on all of the pages so that when you download it, it automatically has everything consistent. So I'm just going to do that.
I have a question. My
Yes.
questions don't seem to be showing up on your side, so I've
Okay.
asked 2 questions now and they don't get answered, so
I'm so sorry.
I don't know why it's happening, so I thought I'd unmute myself. My question was about the brand kit. We put together the brand kit, but now you created this and you had to change the font. You can't apply your brand kit to it?
You can if you create a brand new one from scratch. So let's say
Okay, but if you use a template, you can't use your brand kit.
you can. So actually I wanted to show you with the colors you can. So if I go to brand and I go to colors, you can go like this and change the colors. So that's another easy way to do it. And I can apply it to all pages. So it'll change like that. So that's another easy way. The only difference with the font is that if you go to font and you click on it, it just adds the text element to it, if you see it here. So that's the only thing with the fonts, but it works well if you, let's say you're starting from scratch, like you want to design your own content, you can just click on subtitle, title, and body, and it'll have it all the same. Yeah, Perfect. Okay. Awesome. So definitely highly recommend you use the Canva Brand Kit just to change those colors. And then you obviously don't have to do it manually.
Tracy
All
has
right.
a question. In the
Pardon,
chat.
another question in here?
Yeah.
Okay. How can you copy just one section, a Canva design page, to a new design page without taking all the pages? That is such a great question because that is a common concern, I feel like, with Canva. So let's say that's a great idea. I actually just grab the mouse. So as you can see here, I hover over all of the page like this. I'm actually going to remove this part. Hover over everything like this. And then I press Command C. If you're using a Mac, obviously, if you're using PC, it's just Control C. You can then add the page and then paste the elements. So you just want to make sure you hover on everything. However, sometimes what I have noticed is, let's say you don't want to drag this, just as an example, or you don't want to drag, I don't know, like this part. You just have to make sure that you lock it. So you can actually lock it like this. I can show that again because I went through that a little quickly. So if you hover over the element, there's a little lock position. Then you go like this, and then it should only duplicate the part that you wanted. So there, it didn't actually pick up the flower because I locked it. So the locking tool is really important if you don't want to grab a certain element from one page to another.
Anna, when you want to say something, your hand is raised. Tracy,
Yes,
you should be
I
able
was
to
gonna
unmute
say-
yourself. I can't.
Sorry, I did it.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to understand is, you said to copy it, but usually there's a plus sign that I could just duplicate the page
Yeah,
rather than highlight it, right?
yeah, you can do that too. Yep. So
Okay.
duplicate is just right here.
Yeah,
So this
right
one,
there. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
yeah.
I just wanted to check.
Perfect. Yeah, duplicate and then lock too is also used if you want to lock the page and you don't want it to be touched at all. Like you don't want it to change or anything like that, you can lock it. The lock function is also used if you, let's say for example, you're sharing your design with someone, but you don't want them to steal your design. Like, you know, here in share, you can add the person and they see it. If you lock it, they actually can't ever duplicate that design on their own software, because you have locked it so that you're kind of like the sole owner of it, if that makes sense. So that's a really cool function too, especially if you want to make sure you're being the original creator of all your designs.
Sorry, I figured out how to unmute. Can I clarify that question?
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, so say you want to do a whole brand new, like this one's called Here's How to Grow on Social Media.
Mm-hmm.
Say you're making a completely different design.
Mm-hmm.
You're calling it a different thing, but you want to take one of these pages only and put it in the brand new design, not just duplicate a page within this same one.
Mm-hmm.
You're making a brand new thing, but one of these pages you want to bring over with you. Whenever I copy,
Mm-hmm.
like copy page or design, make a new design, it brings everything. So if I have 7 pages, it brings all 7 pages. I just
Mm-hmm.
want one of the pages in the new design. How do we do that?
So in that case, you'll have to do that sort of function that I just did prior. So where you kind of copy only the one page, and you will have to, let's say, open up a brand new post idea and then paste here that one page. That's the only kind of way to move the one page, unless, let's say, unless, for example, I'm going to go back to this page. Unless, let's say, out of this whole thing, like you don't want the 7, like you mentioned, because the actual design template has the 7, which is right here, or the 6, then what you can do is just, for example, add page, go to the design again, click on the actual template, so this one, and I would only click on the page that I want, which is like this one. Or for example, like whatever other one, but you'll have to add the page and then kind of add the one on its own, if that makes sense. So you can't pretty much duplicate the whole thing. You'll have to actually individually either grab all the text, copy it to a new Canva template or design, or alternatively, if you want the carousel template from Canva, but you don't want all 6, you have to individually grab them and move them in.
Okay, but when you do that copy, Control C, is it only copying the text? Or if you have this whole beautiful design and you want it on a new, I don't know what you call it, a new design,
Yeah.
it copies the entire thing as it is, or just the text?
Yeah, it actually it covers everything. So if
Okay.
you make sure you have it wide across everything, it should pull everything. Even the image, like if
Can you do that?
yeah, so
Can you
let's
just do it
say
so I can see
I do this one, Command
slowly?
C. Yeah, so I just copied this one. I'm gonna open a new, 1 second. Let's
You
open
go
a
to
new
the
one.
file. So file new on the left. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Oh, or here. Okay,
You
no
got
problem.
it.
Okay, we'll go here. This is
I
a
can't
new
see
one.
where your cursor is, so. Okay, so brand new one.
Brand new one. Yeah, I still had it copied. Then I click on it and then I just paste it. And there you go.
Okay.
Yes, so it should copy everything.
Yeah.
The only thing is it's wider here, obviously, because our background color was different, but I can just quickly put that in and then done.
Right.
So you still
So when
can.
you make this, sorry,
That's okay, go ahead.
when you're making this carousel and you download it, it downloads as a carousel and you can literally just upload it right to Facebook and it'll run as a carousel.
Yeah, you'd have to make sure you're downloading the right pages. So for example, let's go back to the long design we have, like all of these examples. So we have like, so many in here. You'd have to go and download only the pages you want. So let's say I select 1 through 6 and I remove 7 onwards. And then the thing is, when you download it in Canva, so which I'm doing here, it'll save as a zip file. So the only thing is when you are going to upload it for a post, you do have to, I usually have to click on it again. So it's a zip file, I open it, then I usually move that under my desktop. It's easier for me to see, but if you like having everything in downloads, it's up to you, whatever is best for you. You move it, and then you manually have to actually click on the folder and then copy, paste, and use whatever in your scheduling, whatever you want from that whole zip file. So I hope that
So do you extract the zip file? You extract them all out and
Yeah.
so they don't upload as a carousel. You have to like click each one, choose carousel option in Facebook, and then individually upload each picture to the carousel.
Yes, I
Is that right?
typically do that. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Typically
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Of course. All right. So now that we've done a little bit with the actual carousel, now we can also use other AI tools. So I'm going to use this same folder just for the sake of the timing today. But let's say, we're going to do another page, another content. Let's say we want to do this one in image. And let's say, for example, we want to do one with our branded color mug on a desk, let's just say. So my brand colors are orange. Yours might be a little bit different. You actually can go into the left side under the Magic Media function, which is here. So I'm going to click on that. And then you can actually type in exactly what image we were looking for. So it's kind of like the ChatGPT again, just Canva's version. And I can put, for example, create an orange mug sitting on a white desk. And that can generate the image. And then it should generate an image. This is a great function too if you want to make sure you're not using any images that exist at all, like online, because it's your own, kind of branded version. So you can click on the image and then upload it to the file and just expand into it. So this is another really cool way that you can obviously create your own custom content. I'm finding actually the Magic Media to be really good as well. Like it's getting better compared to what it was when it first launched. It's looking a lot more professional. So I would recommend that too as another way you can have your own sort of custom content. Any questions with that? No? Okay, perfect. I'm going to keep switching tabs to make sure I check the chat every now and then. All right, so another cool element that you can use with Canva. So I'm going to go into the apps section here. This is where all of the integrated AI kind of lives. You can honestly do so many things with the integrated AI. You can actually integrate platforms that you're already using. Like, for example, here there's LinkedIn ads, MailChimp, Hootsuite. It just makes it easier for you to house everything in the same thing. Or you can obviously explore some of their AI features. I use a lot of different ones. Another one that I use every now and then is actually the AI voice. So this is AI voiceover. If you're doing a reel, and let's just say, actually, in this case, we can go to a brand new, and just put in reel. Let's just go to Instagram reel. I'll share with you how you can include this. So let's say you start with a template again. I'm just going to click on let's just say tips. Tips is a great one if you know that you're going to start adding different slides to all of them. So let's say you do this one. I apply all to 4 pages. Now I have all of the 4 templates in here. Obviously, you can change it as well. So you can go to the stock library, which has videos now. So under Canva, there's a videos section right here. And you can search for whatever it is you want. So let's say I'm searching for someone on social media. And let's say I grab this one. And I can actually make the same post that I did on the 6 social media trends, that one that we grabbed, we can make it into a reel. So we can say social media trends for 2026. Again, we can use the brand section to change the background colors. So we can go like this and actually change them. I'll use that one. And then we can, again, the only thing with Canva is that we'll have to actually type in the actual font, and then we can change all of them. So this is just one example. But now that we have, let's say, a super brief, template for now, I'm going to go on the left side again. I'm going to add the AI voiceover. So if you go to apps, I think I have it saved here under AI voice. You can search in here and type in actually what you want it to say. So I want it to start by saying social media trends for 2026. And you can click on the person's voice.
Social media trends for 2026.
And you can preview how they sound.
Social media trends for 2026.
So I'm going to do
Social media trends for 2026.
Caro, just as an example. So we'll generate the AI voice, and then you'll see how it automatically populates here. So when we click on preview, let's move it up. Sometimes you got to move it based on the placement. So let's
Social media trends for 2026.
And then now that kind of gives you a little bit of an example of how you can add individually all of the words for your videos. The only thing I will say too with this one is that there is some manual work in terms of you having to go to every frame and type in, whatever that is. So maybe tip number 1, maybe it's use reels, just as an example. You will have to copy it and then put it back into the text, paste it, and then generate the voice again. So you do kind of have to manually put in the text for every single thing. But it, again, is a lot more engaging to have a voiceover like that versus just having no sound or just a song that, is just like a background music. So it adds that extra like personal element. I will also say that sometimes when you test out the text, it does sound a little weird if it's like a website, for example. If it's www.drpr.ca, it may say it differently. So you have to kind of hear it first to make sure that it sounds correct. If it sounds a little weird, you can actually do things like spell it out how you want it to say it. So for example, if I'm doing I'm just going to use an acronym for this like company. So OS software. Let's say it sounds weird, OCS. You can like actually spell OC software, if that makes sense, just to make sure that it says it the right way that you want it to be said. So I hope that.
Daisy,
Yeah.
Lawanya put her hand up a long time ago, but I
Oh,
know you're
I'm
in the
so
middle
sorry.
of trying to explain a complicated process.
No
Lawanya,
worries.
did you still need to ask something?
Yes, thank you. So I just had a couple of questions. One was related to like when you created that photo of the mug, you were saying that it seems to be like a unique thing, right? So I'm just wondering, would a trademark issue come up in the future using AI to create these pictures, or is it fine to use AI to do this? And second part is like the voice as well for the voiceover. I was just wondering, like, would is there a way for us to include our own voice instead of an AI voice? And how would we attach that in the voiceover section of Canva?
Yeah, those are really great questions. So I'll say with the last question that you asked about the voiceover, you can. The only thing is you would most likely, if it's not capable in Canva itself, you may have to use a separate software for that. Most of the time though, Canva, as we know, it's so popular. It has 100,000 like apps integrated. So chances are, if you know, do a quick Google search to find which software you can use to add your own voice, chances are it could be already in Canva. You just have to go to the apps function and search for the app. It may already be in there. So you would just have to search for that app. Or if you want, you can give it a quick little research in here and just test all of their options and see if there's one where you can include your own. There has to be one. I don't think the one we used you'd be able to, but if for sure one of these ones you might be able to just add your own voice. I hope that helps answer that question about the voice. And then with the trademark, with the image, it's actually all okay because Canva already has like these partnerships with all of these integrated apps, and you are paying, well, with all these functions, you are paying for the pro version. So it's all okay because we're doing it all in Canva with the pro account. The same thing is also with any of the elements you use with Canva. Like a lot of times I've had people ask, what about the stock images or what about the stock videos? Like, are you sure I won't get in trouble for using them? It's actually all integrated in your membership, if that makes sense, because we're using them from Canva. The only trouble that you'd ever come across is if you're actually saving an image from Google, let's say, that's where you could actually get into trouble because, you know, if you're saving the image from another company's website, for example, that's where there could be that sort of like liability. But with Canva as a member, you get access to all of these amazing features. So there's no harm with using those sort of things. I hope that also
Okay,
helps.
yeah, no, that answers my question. I was also wondering about the pro membership, if it might be worth it to get that. And I think it is because you get access to all of these different things, right? So, and I think there was a question in the chat about saving, and I've run across the same kind of thing where instead of downloading it, is there a way for us to like save our work?
Yeah. Do you mean like save as a template or like aside from the downloading?
Yeah, aside from the downloading, like just saving our work in general. Say you've created this video with the AI and everything, and how do you save it on Canva? Is there an option for that?
Yeah, so actually the beauty with Canva is it auto saves everything you do so that it's kind of like you can think of it as like a Google Workspace. That's how I like to compare it to, like a Google Docs where you'll create this design and then I can exit this like today and come up tomorrow and log in and it'll automatically show the last design I worked on. So it auto saves as you go. That's why I actually recommend it for presentations too that you work on for your company because you'll never lose any of the last like access to the last thing you just worked on. So it auto saves, you never have to kind of do anything manually to save it. The other thing I would do, like if you're using this template, let's say for your reels moving forward, what I normally do is instead of me duplicating on the same, because otherwise, obviously, if we save it, it'll just be like two reels in one. The only kind of thing you'll have to do is if you go back to Canva, I'm actually going to show you how my Canva looks now that I refresh it. You'll be able to see the video that we just did. It should be there. And then what you can do, sometimes you kind of have to refresh, give it a little bit of time, but it will show there. Then you just have to duplicate that design itself. So you go here, you duplicate as well, make a copy. That's what it will be under. And then you just title it like version 2 carousel or whatever, or version 2 reel. And then you go in and you manually change it again. So that's what I typically do for reels, just so that I'm actually housing them all separately and they save properly, if that makes sense. I hope
Okay,
that
so
helps.
all of your work would be would fall under like the recents, I guess. So
Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
it'll go under recents. Yeah. And
Okay.
it just makes it a lot easier for you to go back. One thing too I recommend is if you ever made a design, but you are like, oh, I can't find it under recents. If you remember what it was called, so that's why I usually mention, I mean, I do this myself, like you really want to name it something like DRPR real template or something like that. And create a version, then I would actually go in here and search for DRPR template reel. And then that way it'll pop up and then you can again make a copy and then create a new one. So I always use the search function as like the opportunity for you to find whatever it is that you designed prior to. And that way you don't have to like, you know, just source through like 100 of designs.
So does that mean like anyone else, not on your computer, but like outside with a different Canva account can find the same thing during using the search function, or is it just saved onto your account?
If you want them to, yes. So for this one, as you can see, you might see here, it says private in small. So that's because I made this private just to me. So if I actually have, and this is under my team account. So my team, for example, would never be able to go in and find this because it's under private. So you will have to make it public if you want them to also find it in your team account. So you can do that just by going here to the 3 dots. You can go under share. There's 2 ways you can do it. You can either actually give access to them individually based on the person, like if you know their account, or you can actually have it under your team. So instead of only you can access, you can put my team, or you can put, you know what, anyone with the link. If it's, let's say it's like a downloadable template that you're giving to all of your, you know, newsletter participants or something, then you would want to leave it as anyone so that it's a public thing all over with just the link. But if it's just your team, then make it just the team.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. Of
All right,
course.
Lucy.
Yeah, of course. Did I miss any other questions?
No, I think we've got them all, yeah.
Oh,
That was the
perfect.
question about the works that's been saved, so we
The
have
work.
everything.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, great. So now we went over the reels, we went over the templates. Another thing you can do is mockups. I actually really like the mockups too, because it's another way to make your content look like your own content. So let's go back to the template we had with all of these carousels. What I normally do too when I create content is I actually save it as a folder for that month of content. So let's say this was for you know, November 2025. I'll name it that so that all of the content is here when I download it. And then again, like with the zip file, you can automatically just choose what you want to schedule for what date. It just makes it a lot easier for you. I'm gonna open up the full one that we had. Okay, perfect. So now with the mockups, let's say I add a page and I want to do a mockup. Let's say you want to do a mockup of your website, but you want a picture of your website being shown on someone else's computer, just like as an example. So first step, I would go to your website, go to whatever it is that you want to screenshot. I'm going to just do mine just so you guys can quickly see. So you just go to screenshot or copy or whatever's easier for you. Then it's a actual image now in your computer. So then you go back to the, sorry, I keep switching all my tabs here. Where's my tab? Here. So then we go back to the tab. And then you actually go under, there is an element that's called mockup. So if you actually go here under elements, again on the left, and then you just scroll down, you'll see one that says mockups. So click on that. And then you can choose, let's say I like this one of this guy just on a computer. You can actually expand the picture, or I'll just, in this case, like expand it all. And then now it actually tells you, you can just upload your picture and just paste it in there. So I'm going to upload that same picture that I did. And now that I've uploaded it under the Uploads tab, you can just move it. It might take a little bit, and then there you go. And then if you want to change like the orientation a bit, you just have to double click it. And then here it asks you, how do you want it to appear? So you can kind of move around it, you know, like that, apply changes, and it should change a little bit.
Sorry,
Sometimes,
Daisy, show that again. How you did where did you go to get to this part where you're fixing it?
yeah, no worries. So I actually went, I'll exit here. I went under elements first on the left tab. Then I actually went to mockups. So under elements, there's like a lot of categories. I think it's here, the second, kind of like the second last row, mockups. And then here it automatically gives you a lot of options. So if it's a smartphone, you have options. If it's like a sticker or something, you can do that. They have apparel, computers. So this is where I grabbed the computer one. And
Yeah,
then you can,
I meant more the image, how you were sliding it
oh,
the thing. Yeah, how did you do that?
yeah, no worries. So I went under uploads here. I just uploaded it, pasted it, right? And
Yeah.
then sometimes it's a little wonky. So you actually just kind of like double click. That makes sense. So I double clicked on it and it automatically gave me this function. And I'm double clicking on it to kind of ask it to like change that picture. And then you can go to fit, for example, and
Okay.
it'll just automatically fit it. If you know you don't mind it to have a tab, if you want to fill it, you go to fill and then you just kind of move it however you want to move it.
You said double click it. I wasn't sure where, but it's actually in your uploads, the picture you're choosing.
Yes, yes. And you just double click on the actual design itself to change it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem. So this is also really cool. I think especially for the individual who asked about the mug, this is actually another way we can make it like our own. So here they have like a mug. You can even search it, I believe. So if we just search for mug, you know, let's say we do like this one for winter. This might be another way for you to get that picture that you want, and just make sure that it's something that nobody else has. So you can, again, have your picture, see if we can grab it from our logos, move it in there. Yeah, so that's another way you can do it. There you go. So lots of really cool things that you can do with a lot of the AI, the mockups, all of those integrated things. Amazing. Okay, so now I want to go under how to create presentations. So one thing that I learned with Canva that I came across a couple years ago and it saved my life was if you ever do presentations on PowerPoint, you know, because you have a Google, you know, you use that for your Microsoft Office, you can actually upload your presentation from PowerPoint to Canva and it'll auto-populate it into a Canva template, if that makes sense. So you can still edit your presentation in Canva. You just have to upload it as a whatever file it is. I think it's a PowerPoint file. So it is really amazing. You can pretty much convert anything into Canva, even Word documents, even like whatever it is, you can upload it and you can just edit it in Canva itself to make it a Canva file. So many, yes. I have Lawanya who said so many things you can do with Canva. Your imagination is the only limiting factor, which is so true. Do you recommend any tutorials for Canva? Yes. So I mean, I'm honestly just gonna say, because I'm a huge Canva advocate, I use the Canva YouTube all the time. They are really amazing at uploading all, like every week, the new features that are basically launching on Canva. So use that. And it's so great. They're very quick, informative, and they go over the tutorials as well. And then Teresa said, design with Canva, yes, is a really great channel too. So they have their own, I think, demos and stuff in the Canva library. Perfect. I saw someone who said, where is that? I think the design with Canva. So
It's
I
on
believe
YouTube.
it's on YouTube. Perfect.
And then Anna asks, how do you download it as a PowerPoint? I think when you go to the download button, there's options. There's PDF, there's a PPTX, there's a YouTube video. It gives you all the different file types you can download as.
Yeah, we can test it. So if we do, actually, we can just go to the presentation one here.
I think we're uploading the PowerPoint that we've created, but we want to change it up, like in the sense of pictures, in the sense of the way it looks, the wording, and we want to do it on Canva. We can upload it. Like, let's say it already has the colors that we want and so on, but we need to just tweak it.
Yeah, for sure. You can do the same thing. So if you have a PowerPoint already and you go to just the home function here, there is an upload tab somewhere. Oh, here, upload. So you just upload the file and you can actually upload the PowerPoint. I don't know if I have any PowerPoints living in my in my computer, to be honest. Let me just see. PPT, I might. Don't know if I do. Oh, okay, here. Let's just search this up, for example. And then you just say, okay, got it. It might take a little bit and it will give you it as a design shortly.
But you can also create your own PowerPoints, is what you were saying.
Exactly.
Like start fresh. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So it'll be here shortly. Sometimes you got to wait a little bit. And then the other option, let's see if it showed up here. No, it didn't show up yet. So we might have to wait a bit. But before that, yeah, you can create your own slideshow as well. Let's say here, and just make sure you click on that here. Just click on that presentation template, and then it'll give you a bunch of examples if you want to choose from the ones that are automatically here. But I usually search in the search bar exactly what it is I'm doing. So if you're doing, let's say, a workshop, you can search that up and then use whatever template from there. So let's say they have one on a webinar template, so that's cool. You can apply all, or again, if you want to individually add, okay, this one, add page, add this one. Let's say I only need like 4 or 5. You can individually add whichever ones you want. So then you can have this template and then again, go to brand, go to colors, change it to your logo or whatever colors you're using, apply to all the pages. Again, go to the text, choose yours, change all, and then it'll automatically change it so that at least the design element is easy to change. It's just the words now that you'll have to kind of do a little bit of tweaking with. But I hope that gives you a little bit of a visual on how you can create a presentation.
Sorry, when you click on the color palette, it says shuffle. Is it going through each color and then you stop it where the color you like? Is that how you did it?
Exactly. Yeah. So it actually goes to each color to give you, I guess, the option of like whichever one you like best. I liked the white one the best. So then I just pressed apply once I knew I liked the white one. But you can do it with any of them if you want a yellow background and then apply that, it'll just change them all to the yellow background.
That is very cool. Thank you.
Yeah. It's the best thing ever. It saves so much time to just grab a template, change it, and then add your text. Like, it makes it so much easier.
And you could do this handouts similarly, I guess.
Yes, totally. And if you have a handout that you originally did years ago, like as a, like we said, like a Google document or I don't know, so using some other software, you can upload it still in Canva and then just edit it on Canva. I find the editing of Canva is so much more like user friendly than the one on PowerPoint. And even Microsoft Word, like they're very limited with the images they have on, PowerPoint and etc. So it's definitely more design friendly, I would say. Awesome. Oh, and thank you, Teresa, for adding the YouTube links for that. Awesome. And then before we end, I'm just gonna like try to think of all the different things you can do. There's like 101 things, but some of the favorites that I like. Another cool thing with Canva that I really like is adding QR codes and getting your own generated QR codes, especially if it comes to like a flyer that you're doing for, let's say, an event and you want to let's say, get Google reviews for the event. So you can, again, go to your homepage, search up a flyer first, or unless you have a design that's sitting somewhere, then perfect. I'm just going to click on flyer, see what comes up under templates. Let's say we just use this as a template, customize. Now, again, create it however you want it with your words, with your content, change the colors, make it fun. And then what you can do is I just want to save time, so I'm going to kind of quickly show you what you can do. Let's say you want to add your QR code here, and we want it to be one leading to your Google review. So you can say, write a Google review. Or you can actually say, scan the QR code to leave a Google review. Again, we can just change all the fonts on all of it. And then, of course, you can work your magic with the design aspect. And then what I would do is under here on the left side, if you go to, again, apps, sometimes, oh, here it is, apps. And then you search up QR code. So again, you can honestly find like 101 different platforms and that are like existing in Canva itself. That's actually why I also recommend getting the pro version, because you'll find that a lot of these softwares, like the QR codes, the AI image generation, you have to pay separately for those tools if you're using it like from just Google. But if you already are a Canva Pro member, you honestly have access to all of these things usually for free because it's with your Canva membership. So you kind of get two in one, if that makes sense. Sometimes there are limits. I will say though, like QR code doesn't have a limit, but there's limits with AI voiceover, I noticed. So sometimes it'll let you do like maybe like 3 to 4 with one certain software, but you can obviously use like the hundreds of softwares they have in there and just play around with it. So there's like endless opportunity to use whatever function you want in the apps. But so here, when it comes to QR code, you can just search up whichever, let's say I like, I don't know, let's say I like just the basic QR code one. So you add your URL. In this case, you would have to add your Google review link. So let's say like, in this case, I'll just grab my website to make it easier for us to see. You paste it, you generate the code. Now there's a code. Now you can just kind of, size it the way you want. And there you go. And you can actually test it with your phone. So if you want to test it right now, it should work right here in the presentation. And that actually allows you to make sure it works before you go and print it, or if you're going to print it, with Canva or with Staples. And then I see you could use a photo frame and add your photo. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, it's an endless opportunity and possibilities with the QR code, which I love. I also recommend if you have a business card, add a QR code to your business card. It makes it a lot easier to just have whatever link pop up for the person. I've actually seen someone do it recently with their discovery call booking. They had the QR code on their business card that led to their booking. So that's another way you can do it too. It doesn't matter which QR code company you pick. No, not at all, actually. You can pick however many you like. Usually, I think the reason why they probably have different options is if you want to add things like some QR companies, you can change the background color. So that's like a function that I think is with some of the options here in Canva. But this one that I picked is like the super basic one where it's just black and white pretty much.
The
How do
only,
you-
oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say videos. We didn't really look at that.
Yeah. Do you mean like reels or just any videos itself?
Maybe it's under Reels. I didn't know how it was worded. Okay.
Yeah. So with the reels, we can go over that more if you want. I did see, sorry, one question before we go to the next. Can you also link it to your IG account? Yes, you can. So you can link it to anything that you want, which is really awesome. Awesome. Okay, so let's go back to videos. That will be a really great one for us to work on. So if we go to here, templates, let's search up reels. We could search up I think it's the same sizing as just a regular reel, so you can search for that. Let's say we want to do something like this, customize.
Not seeing it, by the way, Daisy. Oh, there
Oh,
it is. Okay.
you can
Yeah.
see it now? Okay, perfect. Sorry, I think I was just switching the tabs. So with this, you can also choose your template. I will say though, with the Reels function in Canva, if you have multiple different Reels, it's best to do it individually as different designs every time. So it is a little bit annoying in terms of you have to kind of search the library, click it, and then do new designs. But it just helps you know where everything is. And then again, if you're going to use the same template, so this one here, you just duplicate it. And then again, you just have it in your library as two different designs and just rename them so you know what they're called. And then, so with Reels, again, use any template you want. You can change anything with the Reel. So you can go under your uploads. If you have a cool picture you want to add, you just drag it into the function there, into the template, move it in here. And then use its template as your sort of design style, right? So here, if you want to change anything, you can go in and change it. So you will have to sort of play around with it, add different, pictures over here. I don't think I have any really nice pictures in here. I'm trying to see. So you can kind of go there and just edit and change it how you want. If you want to make a brand new design, again, you have to go back to like create a new design and then use that template. One thing I wanted to also show you, so let's go here. I'll just grab a brand new one again. You can add music. So under this template, it has its own music. If we play it, we should be able to hear it. I just went into a brand new one. But let's say the music was slow or we just wanted to change it. You can go to audio. So again, on the left, there should be a little button that says audio. And then you can, oh, there you go, record voiceover. For the last question we had, you can do it now directly in audio. That's cool. I actually didn't see that before. Or you can look through all their music. So let's say we click that. The one thing is sometimes when you add music, even with the AI voiceover, it doesn't actually show you throughout the whole thing. Like here, it's somehow added only half of it. So you will have to expand it. And then once you expand it, you want to remove the other one. So I just kind of go to the dots here. I go to delete track. And then that way you can keep that. And then that's it. And then again, you can do voiceover with the music. So it's possible to do both layers. You just either record it or you click on generate AI. Again, we pick the words we want. I'm just going to use whatever is here for now. And then we click on the person.
Work from home playlist.
And then generate. I will recommend, my favorite AI voiceover is Murph. So if you go to, I think I have it saved here, Murph. It's way more, how do you say it? It's way more like a personal person rather than that kind of like generated robotic voice. So Murph, number one, I'll put it actually here in the chat so we don't forget. Voiceover. is highly recommended. Just so I don't forget. Yeah, so that one is also a really great one. Let's go back here. Yeah, and then you can connect it. So if you do also have an account already with whatever else, you can always connect your accounts in here, which is really nice. Oh, one thing we didn't do as well was the image upscaler. So if you ever have an image and you want to just make it more like better quality, let's say you uploaded one, but it was like such a blurry picture and you want to use it, but it was just not the greatest. You can basically, I'll change my tab so you guys can see. You can upload your picture. I'm going to upload a picture. Let's see.
Daisy, I do need to finish pretty soon because I have another one to get ready for.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
Good.
Perfect. I will just quickly show
Sure,
you
go
guys.
ahead.
Let's say I add a picture. This is a super brief picture, but just so you can see it's a little blurry. You can go to edit. And here under the edit functions, you'll want to play around with these because you can do things like erase parts of the picture or grab one part of the picture. Let's say I only want to grab the house. And then if you want to upscale it, if you scroll down and you go to, if it's a face retouch, autofocus is another one for autofocusing. And then there's another one called image upscaler under apps. Click on that, go to 2x resolution, upscale it, and it'll automatically show you the before and after of what the original was versus what the like kind of 2K to 4K version was. So you can actually create pictures into 4K as well. So you just replace, and then it should replace shortly. And you can actually see here already. So much better. If I just zoom in here, yeah, so much better. So that's another way you can enhance your pictures if you have your own content you want to work with. All right, I'm going to end there. I know I went over the time, but I hope this was super helpful. And then I did want to also just mention to everyone, I am happy to do like free discovery calls as well. If anyone has any other questions about Canva, they want to learn something, happy to, take a meeting and to help you out. So I'll leave my website here, and on my website, you'll find my calendar link. And I'll have Teresa send the presentation as well afterwards. It will
Yes,
have
and
everything in here.
it will. Tina asked, can you use Canva to record yourself? Yes, you can. So you can definitely use it. It's all in there. As I mentioned, when you log into Canva, right at the top, it has the keynote in a banner at the top. So I've subscribed and watched those because you learn so many new things, because literally the features are changing every day. There's something new that they just added in, Affinity Designer, which is like Photoshop, Illustrator. You can make changes to PDFs, like it can all happen in here. So there's lots, It is a bit like Loom. Yes, it is. So there's so many features on it, honestly, thousands. I don't know that we could explain them all. Daisy, thank you so much for giving a wonderful session. And I mean, even I learned a lot and I use it every day. So I love that and appreciate everybody engaging and chatting and sharing and asking questions as well. So I hope I can see you if anybody's wanting to come to the next session. Starts at 6. It's AI automation. So 15 easy automations for business. So register for that and hopefully I'll see you there. So have a wonderful evening, everybody. Take care.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening, and thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.